I have drawn a couple of more lines on this box, just two more. I want to show you the trim command. Let's go up to the trim command. If it says trim, it's in the trim command. If it says extend, it'll be in the extend command. So therefore you'll have to click on the down arrow and click the command you want. I'll click on trim, left click it. When I come down, my text box now is a little green square. It asks me to select the objects where I want to trim from. So I can click on both those lines. You can see they highlight. Click on that line there. AutoCAD works as a two-stage command process. So the next thing I'll do is right click on my mouse like that, and it asks me what I want to trim off. I'll then go to trim on that line. A little cross goes there to say I'm going to get rid of it, and a little cross goes there and I've got rid of it. There's two ways of finishing this command. One is to right click your mouse and then press enter, which I'll do for you, or just press enter on the keyboard. I will press right click on my mouse and then enter will finish that command off. So now I've trimmed that little line off. The other part of this trim command, if I come up here, I press the down arrow, I've got extend. Let's click on extend. Again, the little green text box comes up, and I want to extend this horizontal line across to this vertical line. Quite easy. If I select the object I want to extend to, so that's this one here, click on that, and then I right click my mouse and it says select the objects I want to extend. If I click on the end, make sure it's on the end of that line, it will extend that line unbroken to that other line here, the vertical line. Right click my mouse again and press enter. I have now extended that line, trimmed this one off. A few simple commands before we get onto the oil stone. A circle. If I click on the circle, just hover over it, it will give me a center of a circle with the radius. Let's click on the circle. I'm just going to do the center as a radius. I want to come down to this corner here. It says specify center point. Now, do you notice between my crosshairs there's a little green box? That's called a GIF, G-I-F-F. Whenever you see a GIF, it will locate to a point, like this one's going to be an intersection. It'll locate to the exact point in that corner. To toggle the GIF box on and off, or the different commands, there's a little down arrow here. If you click on the down arrow, it will give you where that little box is going to extend to. Now the top one is endpoint, but a good one is midpoint, center point, and we use perpendicular a lot. If let's say I wanted to go to the center of that horizontal line, it would give me a little triangle. See that triangle? If I click on that triangle anywhere, I can get the exact midpoint of that line, left click on that line, and then if I drag my mouse down, you can see the little text box getting larger. It's got a figure in it. If I type in 100, enter, that will give me a circle with a diameter from the center to the outside of 100, or a diameter of 200. That's the circle command. Let's say I want to move that circle. I don't like where it is. If I go to the move command, left click on the move command, again my little green box or cursor, I'll click on the circle. I want to move that circle, and then I right click. It asks me where the base point of that circle is. Well, let's hover down. You can see that little green line came up. That will give me the dead center of that circle, and now I can move that circle. It'll follow my cursor wherever I drop it. Now the little green box inside my cursor will locate it to a point I want it to be on. So let's say I want to put it about there, left click, finish off the command. I want to copy that circle and put it over here, so now it looks like a trolley. If I go to the copy command and click on copy, come down, a little green cursor again, left click, on the circle, left click, right click for the second part of the command. Where's my base point? It's the intersection of these two lines, or the center of that circle. I'll drag it across and put it over here. Left click, right click, enter. Now I've got two circles on those two corners. Let's have a look at the mirror command. It's a very good command to know. The mirror command, I want to put these two circles on those 2 points up here. Using the mirror command, I can do that quite easily by just clicking on the mirror. Again, I've got my green cursor. Click on the two circles, that circle and that circle. If I right click for the second part of the command, I can specify the point I want to mirror from. So that's going to be the center of that line, and then I come across and I go to see what's happening to those circles now. Left click on that. Oops, I've gone. It does ask me, do I want to erase these objects, but I don't want to erase them, I want to keep them. So I'll just enter, and there I've got those two circles copied across, mirrored across to the other side. If you had a funny shape, that's a good way of mirroring that shape to left or to right. Let's have a look at this symbol here. It looks like a pencil with an eraser on. That's exactly what it does. If I click on erase, again I've got my little green box. If I left click on anything and then right click, it disappears. The same as if I just clicked on that object and then press delete on my keyboard. Would be another way of getting rid of it. Now, here's an interesting one. If I don't want to come up to the command line, sometimes I'm a bit lazy, if I right click on my mouse, I'll get the last command I've just had, or I could get the last commands that I've been using, and I could just click on those and reuse those commands. I want to just click on erase and show you something. This is, if I left click on my mouse and take my finger straight off and then drag my mouse down, you can see a blue box appearing. That blue box is called a selection box. Anything inside that box will be deleted. I'll just escape from that again. Now let's go escape. If I go to erase, and I want to erase something. If I left click, take your finger off the mouse, drag your mouse down, and if I go across and left click here, you can see only the line, the diagonal line is highlighted. It means it's called a selection box, meaning that only whatever's inside the box will be selected, not what goes through the box. If I right click, that line goes. Let's do it again. Left click on that erase button. If I left click here and come down, you can see that if I go to the right, anything inside that box is going to be deleted. That's why it's called a selection box. So you can see the wheel or the circle, and that vertical line will disappear, but everything else will stay. And then I'll right click to get the second part of that command. Let's do that again. Left click up here, I'll left click the cursor, come down here. Look what happens now if I go to the left. Now the box has gone green. It means anything going through that box or inside that box will be erased. That's called a crossing box. That way it's called a selection box. Nothing's actually picked, but if I go this way and I left click now, you'll notice those three horizontal lines will disappear, and then right click and they go. That's the beauty of a crossing box and a selection box.